Now, other cultural news, you have Bud Light being forced to sell some of its brands. The boycott is working. Now, again, winding back the clock, just imagine 5 months ago, Bud Light was the best-selling beer in North America for 20 years. The number one. And then April 1st, which the irony is hilarious. April 1st, it was not a joke. They decided to partner with Dylan Mulvaney, a very famous trans activist, although never got the surgeries, so many people are suspicious to see if Dylan's actually authentic. Also, it seems to be very pejorative in Dylan's portrayal of women and where Dylan wears high heels hiking in the woods. I asked my mom and my sister, and that's not a thing that women do when Dylan is celebrating Dylan's days of womanhood, which, although it has netted Dylan millions of dollars with brand endorsements, this one kind of backfired the most. Many people, including myself, critique the main pivotal reason why people have a backlash to Bud Light was because, unlike the other brands, Bud Light, you can only sell to people who are 21 up. The average user on TikTok, the highest percentage of user base, about 25%, is under 19 years old. Dylan's audience has been rumored, and if you have the data, let me know in the comments, that Dylan's average user age is 15 years old. Both underage in the United States to purchase beer. Now, granted, I would also argue most adults shouldn't purchase Bud Light because of this repugnant taste, unless you're already drunk in college. That seems to be their core market. So they chose to partner with Dylan Mulvaney April 1st, and then they had the leak of Alyssa Heinerscheid, the brainchild, the proud marketing executive at Bud Light. A video of her came out saying that she was worried the brand was too fratty, even though she had pictures of her drinking Bud Light or some type of beer from prophylactic in college, which, cover your ears if you have kids listening, prophylactic is a very fancy word for condom. Which, again, people make mistakes in colleges, but for her to be so hypocritical was also kind of icing on the cake for many people who started the boycott. Subsequently, they've been losing sales week after week after week, and their competitors are thriving. It's gotten so bad they're starting to sell brands. Now, specifically, beginning of the year, Anheuser-Busch InBev, the global organization, they had 52 brands. A huge, huge market share, obviously. Now, specifically, they're going to be selling 8 of their craft beer brands to a company called Tilray Brands, which looks like to be a Canadian cannabis company, and it's going to drastically cut back on Bud Light's craft beer portfolio, as throughout the years they did purchase not just big brands that we all know, but also a lot of the smaller brands. Now, the specific brands that they're selling will be, let's see here, we got Shock Top, which I think some people heard of. It's got the funny looking logo. You got Breckenridge Brewery, Blue Point Brewing Company, 10 Barrel Brewing, Red Hook Brewery, Windmere Brothers Brewing, Square Mill Cider Company, and Highball Energy. Now, this is also be worth noting, they're not just selling the brands, which that's a very common thing in many industries. You just sell the brand and it's like a licensing thing, but they're actually selling the whole infrastructure behind the brand. So not only are they selling the specific product lines of the brand that is Shock Top, so someone else can make it, they're also selling the employees, the breweries, and associated brew pubs. Now, the good news from the employee's perspective is there shouldn't be too many jobs lost. It seems as if they're basically they're spinning off an entity of the business, where you have certain companies like General Motors where they own, Chevy, Cadillac, GMC, Buick. If you were to sell, you couldn't really sell one brand because a lot of employees all work together. They're not really separate in turn. They're separate, but there's a lot of overlap. A lot of the parts are shared. In these perspectives, it seems that they are more independent from Anheuser-Busch InBev in their operation. So hopefully not too many jobs are lost. Now, because of course this will take some time to actually go through, they're expecting the deal to close later this year, more around September 2023, for $85 million. This is according to Tilray's 8K filing. Now, $85 million sounds like a fair amount of money, but their sales, again, over the same fiscal Q2 period last year compared to this year, they're down between what report you read, $395 million to $400 million. Whatever number of those three you choose to believe, that's not good news. That is nearly $500 million in sales that just went away. And it didn't just evaporate. People didn't stop drinking. They just went to the competitors. So it is interesting to see, everyone kept saying the boycott's not working. They're so big they can absorb it. Well, this is a huge change from a business perspective. Anheuser-Busch InBev seems to be pivoting from having a very diverse group of beers to now it seems like they're focusing on more of the big brands, the massive volume ones. Like, I don't think anyone buys a Bud Light for the taste unless they are a burn victim in a building, their tongue was eviscerated, burned. But most people just drink it because it's legally beer. I think the percentage of alcohol is pretty darn low, but it's not like a connoisseur sitting there. That'd be maybe a funny parody, free idea in the comment section. There's not a connoisseur sitting back, sipping and absorbing the flavor of a Bud Light. Like, that doesn't happen. So it's interesting to see maybe they're trying to focus on the few brands they have left. Well, few. Again, going 52 minus 8. I think I sold one more earlier about a month ago. So they still have a massive portfolio, but from a business perspective, I think they're going to get away from craft brewing entirely. Craft brewing is also a great example of supporting locally owned. Most people that I know who do enjoy craft beer, part of the reason they like to drink it is because a lot of the craft breweries are local to them. It's a great way to build a community together. So there's that aspect to it. And when it's owned by a parent Belgian company halfway across the globe, it's perhaps a little bit less authentic. So maybe that's what they're thinking. But either way, outlook is not so good for Bud Light. So if you believe in boycott, keep up the good work, because it is certainly working. Thank you again for taking the time to tune in today. We're trying to get to 3,000 subscribers by the end of August, so you can click that button. I would greatly appreciate it. Also, don't forget to take the time to like and comment. The feedback greatly appreciated and helps grow the channel. Also, and lastly, don't forget to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe and fight the good fight.